Good evening, people, and welcome back to Rtg Mondays. We are in Singapore this week, and we're going to have a very rainy race as well. We've got rain in qualifying. This is going to be light rain. Everyone on the intermediates currently. However, I do believe the race is due to be in full wet conditions, so that's going to spice things up and make it very interesting. Once again, we're just getting on board. Sorry, I'm running a little bit late, so I'm a little bit behind where I would be normally, but we've got plenty of time while everyone gets going to start their opening laps. We will bring up the standings. Well, this is round 5, so we've had 4 races already, and currently leading the standings. Ginge is still reigning victorious after that win in USA. That makes it 3 wins from 4 races. He's been the man to beat recently. Paul Jones Jr. hot on his heels with a string of podiums, but still currently 21 points behind the McLaren driver. Chuckle. Speaking of McLaren drivers, Chuckle is currently in 3rd. Only 8 points behind Paul Jones. We've also got Chuck, his brother, in 4th in the Red Bull. AJ Baker in 5th. Lee Craig 6th. Prof 7th. Bugatti in 8th. Aki in 9th. And Tijman rounding out the top 10 for now. It is currently a whitewash in the constructors, with McLaren leading AlphaTauri and Red Bull not far behind. But as we always say, it is all to play for, and a lot can change. We're not even halfway through the season, so let's see where we are as everyone is doing their outlap, getting prepared to set a lap time. I think Looney Man maybe possibly one of the first people on a lap, so we're gonna ride on board with him and see what we can do. If you are joining us in the stream, as always, please drop down your opinion in the comments. Who you think's going to win? Get involved. And also vote for your driver of the day during the race as well. I'm fascinated to see how this one's going to play out. It is going to be a great race. Such an easy track to get wrong. The walls are so close, and in the rainy conditions, it's going to make it even more treacherous. These drivers are going to be absolutely on the edge. They've got to be on the limit to extract the most from this circuit. It's such a long lap as well. In terms of time, it is the longest lap, I believe, on the calendar, just simply because it is a long lap, but the corners are such slow speed corners, so it takes such a long time to get round. Which also means if you've got changing conditions and you end up staying out too long or come in too early, it can bite you, because you're out for that much longer than you would be in a normal lap. In through the hairpin, Looney Man goes. Stop, turn around, a little bit squirrely, struggling to get that power down. You can see how slippery it is already, even on the inters. It doesn't look like it's raining that hard, but it certainly is very slippery on the track. It might just be those sort of greasy conditions that is difficult to put the power down, especially if you're running no traction control. Or even medium traction control is going to be harder than full as well. Running right up to the wall is the Aston Martin there as he dips under the bridge. Very easy to lock up a wheel going in there. Benson is the first person to set a lap, a 1:58.5. Quite impressed we're actually under the 2 minutes in these conditions around this track. Looney Man once again rounding the penultimate corner and into the final corner he goes. Sling it round. Keep the speed going as much as you can, and he goes into the 1:55. So that's a great lap. AJ Baker, though, smashes it 2 seconds quicker. That is a fantastic lap from him. We are going to watch Prodigy now in the Mercedes come up over the line. Flea has gone into 3rd place with a 1:56. Prodigy in to 2nd. Who else we got? Bugatti Sloven slots himself now into 3rd. We've got the other Mercedes of Sheet. He had a dismal outing last time, really struggled, so he's now slotted into 4th. That's a good lap from him. We have a few people getting out of the way. Who else have we got setting a lap? Aki coming around the last corner. Paul Jones goes quickest in the other AlphaTauri. We missed that. 52.4. Aki slots into 3rd, so that's good. Paul very happy, I'm sure, with that, setting the opening exchange. Ginge has gone slotted into 3rd, so the championship leader, not far behind AJ Baker, but Paul really setting down setting a stamp on this one. That's a cracking lap, so much quicker than anyone else so far. Who else will be next to cross the line? I believe it will be Royal Rumbles. I know he's just about to start his lap. It will be Prof that will be the next person who set a lap time. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. Looks possibly like a Williams has gone a bit off at the hairpin. Let's see what we can see. Is it Tommy? It's David Benson. He's just pulling out the way of everyone and taking a long time to do so as well. But we need to watch Chuckle in the other McLaren championship contender and are setting his first flying lap. Through the last corner he goes, gets a little bit squirrely and he slots into second place. That's a good lap by the Chuckle. Cameron Poulter, another quick one to watch, does slot into fourth, so that's a good lap. Tiedeman's going to go across the line. He goes into 8th place. Anyone else yet to start a lap? We got Danny on a lap. Tommy's on a lap. Oh no, I think Tommy's going a bit slow. GFO is just about to start his lap as well. So let's watch the Alfa Romeo as he goes around and see what he can manage. Let's see a few cars pulling out the way. Ferrari out the way as well. That was that. Lee Krager's that's retired. I'm not sure what happened. I didn't see that. Is he retired in the pits? Somebody will have to keep me informed on that one, because I'm not sure exactly what happened. But what you will find as well, in the rain, the laps will roll in thick and fast because it's worth fueling the car right up and just keeping it going, and putting lap after lap, because you'll start to find the confidence, start to find the grip levels, where you can push, where you can't push. Always an interesting one. Let me see if we got Paul's not on a lap. Chuckle is on a slower lap, maybe just saving a bit of battery even. As you see, jump on board with AJ Baker, that put me off a bit. Prof slots into 3rd place. That's a good lap by Prof. He's found another 4/10 in the lap. And this is what I mean, like your first lap is never going to be great in the wets. It's just finding that grip, seeing what works for you. I think Chuckle's about to go on to a lap. Is Chuck on a lap? I'm not sure. We'll follow him through the last couple of corners. Once again, see what he can manage. Can he get ahead of his brother? He certainly can. 1:52.1, 3.5 tenths quicker than anyone else. That is a fantastic lap from the Red Bull. AJ Baker now. You saw he was a couple of tenths up, wouldn't see him any further up the grid at the moment. There's a bit of a gulf between him and Prof, but hopefully he's found some in the last sector. No, he hasn't. He's lost 5 seconds. He's obviously made a mistake there. Cameron Poulter in the pits. Bugatti is also going in the pits. So Rtg. Anyone else on a potential lap? I don't think the 2 Alpha Tauris are. They look like they're slow. Very hard to see who's on a lap and who's not on a lap when it's raining, because like I say, you know, everyone does cool down laps and quicker laps. Let's see where they're going. Don't think Ginger's going to be on a lap, but he may be about to go on to a lap, possibly. Have to see. Chuckle is on a lap. He's 2 tenths up. Oh, Ginger was on a lap. My apologies. We didn't ride on board with him. 52.3, so it's a big improvement from his first lap. He was obviously just trying to find his feet on that first lap and just making sure he gets it round, but Chuckle is going 3.5 tenths quicker. It is a purple middle sector. Using as much of the track as you can and more, trying to straighten out that braking zone. That's what you got to do. And this is the real slow speed technical sector at the end, and especially in these conditions can be extremely treacherous. Throwing the car in through that, right up against the wall. Using a lot of the inside curb, not using too much of the left-hand curb. That's a wise choice. Can be brutal, those curbs. In through the last corner. Like I said, aim is keeping the minimum speed as high as possible, and he slots into 2nd with a bit of a wiggle at the exit, only just behind his brother, and that is a good lap. It's McLaren 2 and 3 again. They are looking very, very strong in the constructors. I don't think anyone's going to touch them this season. See AJ once again right on board with him. He is going to finish this lap. So either he's going to go on to lap, or he feels his lap is good enough. What's it going to be? It is a 5/10 improvement. Does see him jump ahead of Prof as well, actually. So that's a respectable lap from him. Aki is trying to improve. He looks like he's a 10th down currently though. Very difficult to keep track of everyone as we go around. Aki does, according to the graphics, said a purple sector, but he's a 10th down, so I'm not entirely sure that graphic is accurate. But I'm sure Aki will take it. He'll just be happy to be seeing purple. Does fill you with confidence when you're in the zone, in that mode, absolutely on the limit, and you see a purple sector. It makes you feel good about your lap. It pushes you, drives you to go even faster. Yeah, once again through the last corner of the AlphaTauri, throws it in. Oh, and he's lost the back end. He's into the wall, and that has ruined that lap. I'm not sure whether it would have been an improvement, but that has ruined his lap and potentially the next lap as well. Fortunately, he's got all four wheels. Otherwise, that would have been an absolute disaster. He may have taken wing damage. We're not really sure. We'll have to see. Chuckle cutting a lot of corners there. There's some interesting lines from him. Bugatti Sloven. Let's watch him through the last couple of corners in the Alpine. Is he on a quick lap? Let's watch and see. It certainly is 1.3 seconds quicker than his previous best. Slots him into 8th place. He'll be very happy with that improvement. Leaning man still struggling down in 16th. Looks like he's just going on to a lap. AJ Baker improves. That is proof the track is getting quicker. AJ Baker now slots into first place, a 1:52.0. So the times are coming tumbling down. You want to make sure that you are the last car on the circuit to set a lap. Otherwise, you could fall foul. You might be the quickest driver out there, but you could fall foul, and you do not want to have a poor qualifying when it comes to Singapore, especially in the rain. It's so difficult to overtake. I think we'll possibly ride on board with Paul Jones Jr. for a little bit. Looks like he's about to start his flying lap. Away he goes. And let's ride on board for a lap of Singapore into the first corner. A 90-degree left, but you can take more speed into it than you want because it goes away on the exit into a right-hander. Then slow it down, nearly a hairpin left, back on yourself. Get on the power as early as you can. This is basically a straight. Throw the car to the left. Brake hard. Fast 90-degree corner. Get that front turned in and on the power as early as you can. Because this is your longest straight on the track. You're powering all the way down and then pick your braking point down to the left-hander. Can take an awful lot of curb on the inside. Don't run too wide and invalidate on the exit though, but you can run two wheels over as much as you can. Then slow into the hairpin right. And then a little bit faster, the medium speed 90-degree left-hander. And again, getting on the power as early as possible is key at there, because you gain a bit running up to this left-hander. The old Singapore sling, which is gone now, carrying so much speed. Do not use the curb on the right-hand side unless you're going to take an awful lot of it, because it will just throw you off. And then get the car stopped into the hairpin. Rotate to the front as much as you can. Paul really struggling to get the car stopped and took from the front turned in there, but he's good on the power. Got a nice soft rear end, and then short little blast over the bridge. Hard braking into the right-hander. Run the car as wide as you can on the exit. It opens up, and that's when again you get on the power as early as possible. And then this is a difficult one. Try and use the curbs just to try and hook the car into the corner a little bit and get it turned in. Little slide of oversteer on the exit. Watch your braking zone under the bridge. Just keep it neat and tidy at this point. Don't use too much curb, or if you're going to use the curb, take a lot of it to try and hook the car and turn you in, but it's a dangerous game. Paul really struggling to get that front turned in into the last corner. Like I say, throw it in with a lot of speed. Keep as much speed as you going as you can, and that is a pole position, provisional pole position lap of 151.895, and that was how it's done by Paul Jones Jr. I'm sure he'd be very happy with that, but it's not over yet. Chuck is improving. He's a 10th up in the first sector. There's 2.5 minutes to go. The track is ramping up. The track is getting quicker, and all is to play for. Looks like we've also got Chuckle now going on to a lap as well. Ginger's on an out lap. Prof is on a lap. He's matching himself through the second sector. Looks like we've got an Aston Martin that's... Oh, I thought it was just spun, but he's getting out of the way. Just ignore me then. In that case, we will watch Chuck, I think, for a little bit of this lap. As he comes down, like I said, spot your braking point. He is a tenth and a half, nearly 2 tenths up, which wouldn't quite see him into pole right now. But if he's got another tenth in the last sector, I'm sure that will see him into that provisional pole position. Chuck showing very impressive speed in qualifying in recent races, but just struggling to get it all together in the race. But a pole position round here would be huge for the Red Bull driver, because he can afford to back it off and just take it easier in the race, because it's so difficult to overtake. A big snap of oversteer though, as he comes through out of the penultimate corner into the final corner he goes. What's this lap time going to be? It's going to be a pole position of 1:51.880. He's marginally quicker than Paul, and that is a fantastic effort. Chuckle is 10th down, no, 10th up, sorry. Or half a tenth up, apologies. He's going purple in the middle sector. We need to keep an eye on him as well. Throws it in through that chicane. As I say, easy to miss your braking point coming under the bridge. You want to brake as late as possible, but so easy to lock up, especially if you don't run ABS and run on. And in the wet, it is even more difficult to do so. Chuckle keeping it very neat and tidy. It's not extravagant. It doesn't look quick. It just is neat and tidy and smooth. And that's what you need to be. And as I say that, I give him the commentator's curse, and round he goes. The final corner. And that has not only ruined that lap, that will ruin the next flying lap for the McLaren as well. However, he may... Oh, as we see Chuck getting a little bit of a wobble on as well. I'm going to go back with the championship leader currently, Ginge, and see how he's getting on. Yeah, 10 seconds to go. That is qualifying over for Chuckle. There is no way he's going to get another lap in, so he's condemned to 4th at the very best. And there you have it. That is the clock counting down. We're going to follow drivers as they go across the line. Bugatti Sloven is not going to improve his time. Danny, let's have a look for him, see where he is. What time he's going to set. Is he going to get into the top 10? He's currently in 13th. He loses the back end, but he does cross the line and unfortunately doesn't quite improve. Sheet is on a lap, I think. Prodigy, oh, he's already finished the lap. We've got AJ. He's... no, I think it was the other Haas. We've also got... Oh, Chuck goes quicker. Once again, another 2/10 improvement. That's a great lap by Chuck. And he slots into provisional pole. Anyone, who else have we got on a lap that could possibly beat him? Ginger's up by 2/10. That's not going to be enough as things stand. I think Paul's finished. Yeah, he's gone in the pits. AJ is possibly on a lap as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on AJ. But worst watch Ginger as he comes across the line. Championship leader slots himself into P3. I'm sure he'll be disappointed without getting it. He wants pole, but he doesn't need it. He just needs to keep consistently scoring points and he'll be absolutely fine. Watch AJ Baker come into the last sector now. Just trying to hook it up as best as he can. It's not an easy sector to get right. Not in the dry, let alone the wet. These drivers doing a fantastic job of keeping the car on the track. Misses the inside apex, runs a bit wide and does what we've seen a few cars do this evening and does a full 360. And 10 out of 10 for pulling that one off because it looked incredible. But I hate to break it to you, AJ. That was not the quickest way to take that corner. And that fish helmet clearly not working. He is not taking to it like a fish to water. However, P4 I'm sure he'll be happy with. It's still at the sharp end of the grid, but there you have it. I don't think anyone else is on a lap are going to improve because we've only got Chuckle to see in. But Craig, once again, he's been on form when it comes to qualifying, and he proves it once again. He grabs provisional pole, or pole position, sorry. I'm sure he's going to be punching his fist in the air at that. A great lap to go 2.5 tenths clear of Paul in the AlphaTauri, who I'm sure will be happy to be ahead of Ginge in the fight for the title currently. AJ Baker slots in the 4th. Chuckle, I'm sure, a bit disappointed, back in 5th. And Aki, a very, very good qualifying by Aki, indeed, clinging on to the tails of the top 5. And hopefully looking to score good points for AlphaTauri. Prof, a respectable lap in 7th. Bugatti 8th. Royal Rumble 9th. Cameron Poulter in 10th. And there you have it, your top 10 for the race. That's going to be the starting grid, but it's a long old race at Singapore. Especially if the weather does change at all. It may be constant all the way through. We don't know yet. We'll have to keep an eye on it as we go through. As we load out of qualifying, and everyone gets their race game on and gets ready to get going. You need to choose how much fuel you're going to use. My opinion, if you're listening, run quite a lot less fuel than you need to. You will save so much fuel in the rain, so much short shifting, so much saving. So much less on the throttle because you're struggling for traction. So yeah, you will save a lot of fuel, and you can underfuel an awful lot. I believe, looking at this, it is pouring down with rain. I would imagine everyone's going to start in the full wets. Never know. Some people may decide it might be worth chucking on a set of inters. Some people may want to chuck on a set of semi-slicks, but I think that would probably be a grave mistake. It would give us something to laugh about and watch in the commentary box for certain. But there we go. As we see everyone lining up for the formation lap, getting ready to go. We'll just check out the tyres, and there you have it. Confirmation of wet weather tyres for the entire grid. No surprise there at all. That is pretty much what we expected, as we see Chuck lead everyone away. It is Red Bull from AlphaTauri from McLaren. Nice to see a big diversity of car manufacturers. Now, the thing here is, you're going to have to pit. There's no way a circuit like this, it's so hard on the rear tyres, there's no way you're going to do it on one set of tyres. You're going to have to pit, surely, at least once, just because of tyre wear. It could be worth pitting twice and doing a 2-stop. Overtaking is so difficult here, and that normally means a 2-stop's a bad idea, as we see Chuck do a nice little drift and nearly spin it, but well held. Just warming those rear tyres up. Yeah, as I was saying, obviously the 2-stop you need to be able to overtake to make work, but actually Singapore is a very unique circuit. The undercut is so powerful because of that long lap and because tyre wear is so bad. So if you come in, get on a new set of tyres, you can gain so much time on your rivals around you, and the tyre wear is that high and imbalanced towards the rear that perhaps a 2-stop you could just be absolutely rapid. Could be worth a go. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe some people will try it. It also depends for safety cars as well. But like I say, the undercut's very powerful, so you want to be the first to pit. But the problem is you do not want to pit yourself into traffic. If you pit and go out behind a slower car on older tyres, that's you a bit stuffed, as Chuck gets a nice little drift once again. Oh, we see Chuckle in the background doing a bit of a 360 nearly. So yeah, strategy is going to be very interesting. I think it's going to play a big part on who wins and loses. Difficult to overtake this evening, but it's going to be down to mistakes. You're going to force the driver in front of you to try and make a mistake to make that move. As we're getting a nice show of drifting from both of the Chucks on this this formation lap. It's lovely to see. Gives us something to watch. Don't do it in the race though, because it's not the quickest way around the circuit. I've got to be honest with you. Oh, well held there. And Chuck, he's really trying to get those rear tyres warmed up. Oh dear. But Chuckle giving us a demonstration and also a reminder of how he did at the back end of USA, the last race. He spent most of it going around in circles. A few drivers get disqualified lining up. Obviously manually parking your car. Another driver gets himself disqualified. We're just waiting for Chuckle to slot himself into position, and then we will be ready to go. As we get 5 lights. And away we go for the Singapore Grand Prix. Let's see, it's so slippery off the line. Who's got the better jaggle? We got a Haas in the wall on the right side. I think that's AJ Baker losing the back end, but Chuck's managed to hold the lead coming into the first corner. Chuckle's had a lightning start, jumping his teammate Ginge into third. We've got quite a few changes further back. No major incidents as far as I can see. Nobody spun, nobody got massive damage. AJ Baker got away with that back end loss coming out, but it is Chuck who takes the lead. But looking at Chuckle, he's all over the back of Paul Jones Jr. in the AlphaTauri. Is he going to try and make a lunge up the inside? I think he thinks better of it, and wisely so, because it's so difficult to overtake round here and easy to lock up. We've got a few changes of position further down. Cameron Poulter struggling. We've got a lot of cars ghosted. They're 3 wide coming into the hairpin. This can only end in disaster, or it could end in absolutely nothing because everyone's ghosting. And I'm not sure what's going on, but that completely ruins the racing. The ghosting, that is a real shame. But we need to jump back to the lead because Chuck is checking out in the lead. He has got the pace in these wet conditions. He's already a second clear of Paul. And can he maintain that? That's the question. Ginge just dropping back a bit from his teammate, but we've seen it before. He just bides his time and awaits. Bugatti all over the back of the McLaren though. Championship leader struggling a little bit. It's all about building it up, keeping the momentum, not pushing too hard too early. Is Chuck pushing too hard too early? Could choose through his tyres, could make a mistake, but I hope not. I'm sure he's going to do absolutely fine, but he is pushing like a madman and getting the better of Paul here, who I know from experience is very good driver in the wet and very hard to beat. Alpine just running a little bit too much curb through that last sector there, but that is the first lap over and done with. And yeah, what a clean opening first lap from everyone that was. We've got to check back in with AJ Baker. I think he's probably got a bit of damage because he is coming into the pits. We didn't see exactly what happened. He did lose the back end, I think just a bit too much wheel spin. We are going to just keep on board with him to see what he does. I imagine this will be for a wing change. Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, front wing coming off. He's getting a new one. We can't see any visible damage, but he obviously got some damage from that. We've got Prof and Royal Rumble going side by side here. Prof making a move on Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble struggling somewhat on the exit going down that straight, and that is a nice move from the Aston Martin, who puts himself back up to P7. Lost the position off the start, but he's gained it back now. You see the big gainer is GFO up 5 places into 14th place. He's had a great start. Chuckle also having a good start, up 2 places. Sure would be very pleased with that. Bugatti as well, up 3. That's a great start from the Alpine, and sure Aki will be very happy, running in 6th place and running quite nicely behind the Alpine. Rtg all over the back of Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble not happy in these conditions because Prof has already taken nearly 2 seconds out of him in that first sector alone. So perhaps Royal Rumble has damage. We'll have to see. Maybe he just doesn't like these conditions. It does separate the men from the boys, as they say. It's a very difficult conditions to go, as we got a Williams going all out of shape. Back there, I think that was Tommy, and we got Prodigy rounded in the wall. Is he out? No, I think he's still going, but he has done damage to his front wing, and reversing in the wall, that might do him damage on the rear wing as well. Don't want to do that. That is unfortunate for him, but Tiedemann all over the back of Royal. Is he going to try and make a move? Where can you make a move? Royal Rumble coming in the pit, so yeah, confirmation he must have damage. Surely. As he goes in, and that releases Tiedemann into 8th, but he's already 3.5 seconds behind Prof, and I'm sure he's going to be looking to make a move to get back into it. Paul Jones now sort of stabilised the gap between himself and Chuck. Gap now only 1.5 seconds. A few gaps starting to appear through the field, but a few people running quite close together. Danny running very close to the back of Tommy. The Sheet gets himself a corner cutting penalty in 3 laps. That's quite impressive going, especially in the rain, because the game was more lenient in the rain. We see GFO sizing up a move on Flea, but I think he outbroke himself there a little bit, and he ran very deep into that corner. Chuckle possibly made a mistake here, because he's dropped back suddenly by a good second, or so half a second or so, because he was only a second behind Paul. And now he's in the clutches of his teammate Ginge. So I think he may have made a mistake at some point, and we might have missed that. Have to keep an eye. If it's caused him damage or anything, he's only going to hold his teammate up. Is there going to be any team orders, especially for the championship? Do remember, these two are fighting each other in the championship, so I don't think Chuckle's going to want to let Ginge past and play the team game here. Meanwhile, up ahead of them, Paul is catching Chuck ever so slightly for the lead, and that is Rtg round. And what is he doing? He has gone around and sat in the wall, and that has caused a virtual safety car. As we see, Chuckle's gone down the order. What's happened to Chuckle there? They're losing time left, right and centre. I'm not sure. Been a switch of positions in the McLarens. I'm not sure whether that was team orders or what was going on there, but we'll did unfortunately just miss that. You see the VSC is now out, so all cars slow down to a time delta. If they go above it, they will get penalised with a drive-through, which basically wrecks your race, unless there's a safety car later on. We will not get notified about when it's restarted. The drivers will get a little bit of a warning. There's no countdown, you've got to judge it yourself. However, they do get a warning that it is ending. We don't, so we will the first we'll know of it, everyone will be back up and running. Chuckle, obviously, I think he's had a bit of a spin because he's all over the back of Ginge, so his time delta is obviously a lot more in the green than his teammate. I'm sure he's going to be disappointed to drop behind him, especially for the championship. Not good. And Rtg gets himself a drive-through penalty for speeding under safety car, and we are back. Green flag running once again, and I tell you what, Paul's had a really bad restart because he's lost nearly a second to Chuck. That is an amazing VSC by Chuck in the Red Bull. Absolutely fantastic. He's timed that to perfection, and Paul behind really hasn't. Nobody else has got a drive-through by the looks of it, so I think everyone's managed to judge that okay. You're best off playing it on the side of erring on the side of caution rather than risking it. Rtg gets himself a 5-second speed penalty, and I imagine, yeah, he will give up and retire. And that's our first retirement of the evening so far. Now, there's a big gap between Ginge and Paul. 2.5 seconds nearly between second and third. So the top two really sort of running away with this. There's a nice gaggle of cars from third. Well, really sort of down to 7th, to be honest with you. All following each other in a line. Again, no DRS, do remember, in the rain. So again, making overtaking just that much more difficult and that much more challenging. Everybody within a second of each other. There's only Aki's just got a 1.2 second gap, and Prof has as well to him. So just those two, just 2/10 outside of that second window, but pretty much there or thereabouts. Aki's made a bit of a mistake though, because I think he's dropped back a few tenths into the clutches of Prof. There is a yellow flag, and David Benson has retired from the race, and that will inevitably cause the safety car. No surprises there. He is definitely out the race, and rather suitable he's in a Williams. Because he has had a few crashes and caused safety cars, which has changed the outcomes of races. So, you know, being in a Williams, quite appropriate. We shall now rename him Nicholas Latifi. I'm sure he won't mind. But the question is now for everyone, do they pit or not? Because you will gain a massive benefit pitting under the safety car, and how much quicker you'll be with those fresh tyres. However, we're only 5 laps in. And I don't. If everyone else doesn't pit behind you, you could lose so much track position. It's so risky. If everyone behind you pits, you're onto a winner. If they don't, you're stuffed. And it's really a gambling game now. Do you gamble? Do you risk it? And this is where safety car throws a bit of a spanner in the works. You see everyone trailing around. Just it's a very slow lap, unfortunately. A little bit of a trundle with a time delta. But we need to keep an eye. Is anyone going to decide to pit? Or are they going to stay out? Chuck, he's going to pit. He's going to pit. Will Paul Jones follow him? He certainly will. Ginge is going to stay out. He's going to take the gamble and stay. Chuckle's going to come in. Bugatti Sloven staying out. He's going to go for it. Aki is going to stay out as well. We've also got Prof staying out. Tiedeman's going to stay out. So it's a risk that the top three are taking. Is it going to pay off? I don't know. It could well do. They will have fresh tyres, but they're going to have a lot of cars in front of them. Everyone was running so close together. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have done. Because look how far that's dropped them back. It's dropped them back virtually to the back of the field, and they're going to be in so much traffic as Sheet and Chuck go side by side. Who's got the position? I think Chuck's got it. A bit of squabbling, but Chuck has got it, and that's it's crucial with his battle with Paul, because there's two cars in between them, and so Paul is going to struggle from here. My only thoughts are they going to try and stretch those wets all the way to the end of the Grand Prix? It's going to be a tall order. If they can make it last to the end of the Grand Prix, they're onto a winner. If we end up getting like Inters about 3/4 of the race, again, they could be onto a winner, because the other guys will have to pit as well before them, and they can go straight on the Inters. So be interesting to see. It is a complete and utter gamble. But now we've got a new leader, and no surprise, we're pretty used to it in the opening 4 rounds so far. It's Ginge in the McLaren. He's currently leading this race on old wet tyres. Bugatti in 2nd, Aki in 3rd, Prof in 4th, and Tiedemann in 5th position. As we wait for the rest of the field to catch up. What is your order at the moment? GFO, a very good run, up 10 positions. That's quite an impressive return for him. Obviously the big leaders at the moment, as you're seeing, Chuck, Paul, Chuckle, AJ, that all have pitted for fresh tyres. We are going to check the tyre graphic on so we know who's on what tyres. 5-lap younger tyres may not sound like much, but around Singapore, 5-lap younger tyres is a big time advantage. We just wait while everyone circulates. Just waiting for Cameron Paul to catch up. If anyone is racing this evening and they're listening to the stream, feel free. I'm not telling you to pause and go AI, but please do so. Let me know what the weather's going to do. Is it like this all race long, or is it going to change? Is it going to dry up? Is it going to get worse even? Who knows? Do let me know if you are listening. And also, if you're listening in and you're not racing, do pop your opinions in the chat below. As always, love to hear it. Always fascinating. And great to see you. Thank you ever so much for everyone that is tuned in. Thank you to everyone that tunes in on a regular basis, or just joining us for the first time. It is massively appreciated. It's great to see racing like this. Got a very long lap behind the safety car. I'd like to think that Cameron is going to catch up with the pack this lap. And hopefully we will be back up and running once again. Yeah, he's about to catch up now. And hopefully that means we will be back up and running at the end of this lap. There he is. He's doing the attack. I'm not sure whether he's AI or not. He's ghosting for some very strange reason. I think he may be an AI car, but he's got disconnected or something. It does look like an AI driving the way that we'll have to see. Either way, safety car in this lap. There it is. Confirmation. The track has gone green, as you can see as well. And Ginge is now the de facto safety car. No overtaking until you get to the start-finish line. Remember that, you cannot overtake until you get to that line. But Ginge dictates the pace. He decides when to go. He can go whenever he likes. Well, as soon as the safety car actually pulls into the pits, he can go. And it's up to him. Everyone else has to guess exactly when he's going to go. And this, I'll tell you what, is turning into a fascinating race. The safety car has definitely thrown a curveball in there, as it always does. Call it fair, call it unfair, whatever you like. I have my own opinions on that. I think it's rather unfair, but it certainly throws an interesting element into the mix. Ginge leaving it very, very late indeed. How late is he going to leave it? He's still going through the last corner. Is he going to go? Not yet, not yet, not yet. He's not going yet. He's going to leave it to the absolute last second, and he certainly does. And I think Bugatti Sloven has called him on the bounce. There's a few battles further back. We're going to be a few wide. We've got the Williams and the Alpine going side by side. The Alpine of Danny up the inside of Tommy. Is there going to be contact a little bit? We've got an Aston Martin going a bit wide. That is Prof further back, but he managed just to hold it. A Williams going wide. The Haas is struggling. Of Tiedemann Prof is round. There's a Ferrari of Flea dropping down as well. Tommy's got up and down too. But I think other than that, no particular contact or anything bad that we saw. Sheik gets himself another time penalty. That is a shame, but it's been a good restart from Chuck, who sees himself into 8th position. There's a bit of contact between him and who was that? Tommy. It looked like he was weaving very dangerously or very late, possibly causing that, but we couldn't see exactly. Has that caused Chuck any damage? Because that could be key. He's dropped back behind GFO. Once again, Chuckles had a great restart up into 10th. Paul's really struggled. He's stayed down in 15th. He is really struggling to make any moves right now. AJ also is making pretty good moves as well. He's all over the back of Lee into the first corner. We see Ginger's pulling a gap out front between him and Bugatti, so he's managed to hold that one off. But that was drama, wasn't it, at the start? Chuckle really the big winner out of that, managing to gain quite a few positions, as we see Sheet and AJ coming together. I did not see what happened there, but Sheet and AJ have come to blows, and AJ Baker has come off far worse. He is in the wall. I'm sure he's not going to be happy with that one. GFO gets past Tommy further up. Chuck is still going. He's looking pretty quick still, so hopefully he didn't get damaged for that earlier contact. He goes at the inside of the Williams. That is not a place you normally make a move, but he was feeling very brave and very confident there. The Williams obviously going very slow indeed. And the Red Bull is all over the back of this Williams. And don't forget, Chuck has his brother right behind him, who will take advantage of any errors from the Red Bull driver. Chuck really looking to convert this pole position into a win. He could do with some good points. I'm sure he'll be disappointed if he can't. Paul has made up a few positions because he's now up to 11th. So he's had a good second half to the lap. Chuck still all over the back of Tommy here in the Williams. Remember what happened last time he tried to go for an overtake? It did not end so well, but he got away with it. Is he going to be able to make a move this time? He loses the back end coming out of that corner. Is that going to allow Chuckle to have a run on him? It certainly is, you know. He's not close enough to be side by side though. And Chuckle decides to back out of it, but it has cost Chuck an opportunity trying to get past the Williams, and this all the while this is costing them time, because you look at the gaps that are forming. But Aki running very, very strongly in third actually, under a second to Bugatti ahead. He's just under a second to Jin. So yeah, Aki and Prof in fourth. keeping up very, very good pace at this point. I'm sure they're going to be extremely pleased with the way things are going. Tiesman also into 5th. He's running well. His teammate coming to blows with the Mercedes not long ago. It was like Kevin Magnussen and Lewis Hamilton, wasn't it? Really, Hassan and Mercedes. Let's see if I can go past Bugatti now, dropping off the back of Ginge somewhat. We see Profanaki sticking with the Alpine very well indeed. Tiesman also sniffing at the back of the Aston Martin. He can spy a podium. He can see the podium, but he's currently not on the podium. Can he get himself up onto the podium before the end of the race? Chat once again all over the back of Tommy. Gap is very, very close indeed, but there's no way past the Williams. As I said, such a difficult track to overtake on. You're really relying on being seconds quicker than the car ahead, or they're making a mistake. As the race settles down just a little bit after that very chaotic restart. Oh, Chuck losing the back end, coming out of there very close to the back of the Williams, perhaps a bit of dirtier, not helping the Red Bull driver. Once again, trying to get on the power as early as you can, coming down the straight. Is he going to be close enough? Don't think he is, because there's no DRS, and really, really difficult to try and make a move around this circuit. Like I said, you're better off just relying on sending one up the inside at times, but you've got to be extremely confident on the brake. We see Sheet and AJ once again going side by side. They came to contact once before. Are they going to do it again? They certainly are. Sheet bumps AJ into the wall, and that, I'm sure, is going to end up in the stewards room this evening, because that is 2 collisions where it looks like Sheet has just driven AJ into the wall. I'm sure we will ask for POVs on that one. See now a gaggle of cars. The Williams of Tommy really hurting Chuckle and Paul now, who's actually managed to catch up to these guys. There's still no way through for the Red Bull, and he's going to start feeling desperate in a minute, because he cannot afford to lose too much time. He is losing heaps of time as it stands. He just can't put those new tyres to good use. It is tyre life and lap time that is just wasting away. Needs to try and get the move made as much as possible. And there you have a confirmation. Gingy on the older tyres setting quicker lap times than these boys on the newer tyres, because they just can't get the fresh air. They need the fresh air to set the lap times, but nothing doing. Tiesman all over the back of Prof as well for 4th place. Prof holding that 4th very nicely. Cheek once again get himself a time penalty. Seems to be the only driver getting himself time penalties at the moment. You have to question how he's managing that, or why he's doing that. And I'm sure the stewards are going to be asking a lot of questions of the Mercedes driver come the end of this race. You see once again AJ Baker in the pits. No doubt got wing damage from that earlier contact. I'm going to stay on board once again with these guys, because the Williams of Tommy really, really frustrating what was the top 3 running in the race. Up until that, they are, you know, by the time everyone else pits, they will be ahead, but they're losing time and over fist here. You know, if we look at the gap to the leader, they're already 12, 13, 14 seconds behind Ginge, and that's how much time they lost. You know, and you'd think a pit stop's going to be what, around here? Perhaps 18 to 22 seconds. It's a lot of that lost already. And that's why I say I don't think pitting was the right idea, but Bugatti's had a little bit of an off. He's sideways under the tunnel. On that is gutting for the Alpine driver. He's got wing damage and all, and he is tumbling down the order once again. That is going, but Aki, I'm sure, is going to be rubbing his hands in delight. This is working out really, really nicely for the AlphaTauri driver. Currently sat in a very solid P2, running at a very nice pace. And yes, he will have to pit, but to be honest, I think even these guys are pitted under the safety car. I think they're going to have to pit as well. As things stand, if we have a clean race to the end, I think Ginger and Aki and Prof are on for a very strong podium. But don't discount Rtg as well, just behind. However, we may get safety cars, we may get drama, we may get changing conditions. Who knows? Or maybe these wets that the guys pitted on might last to the end. Who knows? As Chuck goes round the outside of Tom, he's found his move, he's got the run on him. Later on the brakes, more grip. And that is a very nice move indeed. And well done to the Red Bull driver there. He's got himself into clean air. And now he's got 2.4 seconds to gain onto GFO to get up into 6th place. Chuckle is now the next who will have a go at the Williams driver. And he's going to be just as desperate because he wants to stay with his brother. He does not want to lose too much time because I'm pretty sure, yeah, Chuck is just pulling well away from Tommy now, though he did look like he made a bit of a mistake there coming out of there because he just suddenly dropped a load of time. Thinking perhaps losing the back end a little bit. Oh no, he's caught the guys up ahead, that's why. There was the two, yeah. What's happened here? We got Danny and GFO has suddenly dropped off seconds. I must have missed what happened there. Because that's why Chuck's slowing down, because he's behind these guys once again. He's got some more overtaking to do. And he's definitely having to work for this one. I'm sure he'll be loving every second of it. Got to push hard. Oh, he's losing the back end a bit. That was a nice little drift. Well held. GFO though, all over the back of Danny. Wonder whether Danny perhaps got a bit of damage, hit a wall or something, and he's now, because he's definitely being the slow one in this train. He's definitely holding everyone up. As we see, oh, is that Chuckle having a move on Tommy? He couldn't quite make it up the inside into turn 1, but fair play giving it a go. And he's going to, whoa, get the exit on him. No, he's not, because he's going to lose the back end. But GFO does get past Danny into that corner, and that possibly is going to allow Chuck to have a nice run on the Alpine. Look at that, he's going to duck out the slipstream, but it's just so difficult to do. Can he make a move? No, he's going to back out of it. He can't quite do it. We've got a couple of drivers losing positions. Lee Craig looks like he's had a bit of a spin, but we're watching this. AJ Baker now, fastest lap. No surprise, he's in clean air, got fresh tyres on, and showing what pace he has, and, well, what could have been in this race, really, for him. Only a safety car will see him back into this race now. I'm just going to check with the intervals. Yeah, Chuck leads 14.6 seconds now to Jin, so definitely struggling somewhat. He needs to clear these guys as quick as he can. As you see GFO pulling away from the Alpine of Danny. Chuckle does make a move on Tommy into the hairpin. He's sent one up the inside. He's got loads more grip. And past the Williams he go. Will the Williams come back at him? No, decides better of it. And next will be Paul to see if he can make a move. And I'll tell you what, he's going to get a good run on the Williams here. Is Paul going to send it up the inside? He might just do that, you know. He goes at the inside. The Williams turns in anyway, regardless of whether he's there. And that is, yeah, not Paul back down once again. Unfortunately, Tommy trying to drive like there is nobody around him. And it just doesn't work when somebody is up the inside of you. And Paul, no doubt, very frustrated with that. And I can't say I blame him. And who we got further up? Is that Danny there? There's Danny coming into the pit. So I think perhaps confirmation Danny might have had damage. Then looking at that. We need to keep up the eyes up front as well. Teichmann running just behind Prof. Prof still just over a second to Aki, who, as I alluded to earlier, is running a very, very solid race. Ginger, though, out in first. It was a good one to do. We have Danny, who has retired from the session in the pit lane. Sheik gets himself yet another time penalty. And I mean, yeah, you know, 12 seconds of time penalties. The only driver to actually get one. That's 4 track limits penalties, 3 warnings each. have to question what corners he's cutting. He must be doing it deliberately, surely. But that will certainly hurt his finishing position, especially if there's a late safety car. Not one other driver has any penalties at all. Everyone keeping it nice and clean. As I say, in the wet, it's a lot easier to get away with the track limit penalties, because it tends to be a little bit more lenient on you. That truck is caught up to the back of GFO. And, he's going to be... And so you get up the grid, they're going to be harder and harder to make these overtakes. Paul's still struggling behind Tommy to try and find a way past. Hopefully he hasn't got any damage from that contact with the Williams, but we will see as time goes on. Prof has caught up to the back of Aki, who has dropped off a little bit on that last lap, so not sure. Keep an eye whether Aki's struggling or whether he's just made a mistake a little bit, but we are going to join the battle with these two, because they are fighting for a podium, and this is a genuine podium, because by the time they pit, they're not going to be far behind the other guys who have pitted, and I think they might have to pit yet again, so we shall see where it all comes out. But they're ever going a gap at the moment while Chuckle and Paul are stuck in traffic. Prof comes out. Is he going to get a run on Aki? He's trying to get a slipstream, but I think he's going to be a little bit too far back to make any sort of a lunge at the inside. These two very good friends, so they're going to have a lot of respect for one another when it comes to fighting. There is Flea has had a little bit of a moment or something in the middle sector. Yellow flag. He's lost a lot of that front wing, so not sure what happened there. Just ran a bit wide at a wall or had a little spin. But he has recovered it to get going once again. Prof still eyeing up a way round Aki. Tiedemann has dropped off a little bit. Let's see, is that Williams in the pit? I think that's Lee. It might be Lee Craig in the pits. We'll have to see. Is he yellow? Oh, is he spun possibly? I think it might have been Lee who was spun, but we'll have to check in with him. Once again, still Chuck all over the back of GFO, but yeah, he's going to be a lot harder to pass than Tommy was. Paul, however, not going to disagree. He's going to go at the inside of the Williams. He's going to be late on the brakes, and that is a fantastic move there from the AlphaTauri. He had to be brave. He had to be committed, and he has made that stick nicely. It was aggressive, but it had to be. Absolutely fantastic from Paul, and he's cleared him, because look at the gap, 5.5 seconds. He was losing time hand over fist to his rivals, and that was a very, very timely move indeed. Great stuff. Very committed. Royal Rumble now becomes the first driver other than Sheik to get a track limits warning and a penalty. Prof just pushing Aki along, trying to find a way past, but nothing doing just yet. Oh, Chuckle gets a lovely little slide on. That was beautiful from the McLaren driver. Things you love to see. We are here to see racing though, not drifting, as good as it looks. And so there's been a change of position further down. Looney Man, oh, he's coming in the pits, that's why. Looney Man in the pits. He's going to no doubt stick on a new set of wet weather tyres, which he can probably... Oh no, he's not. He's going to retire. Okay, ignore my train of thought there. As all of a sudden Prof has now dropped off the back of Aki and is in the clutches of Tiedemann. So once again, we seem to be missing all the action. But looks like Prof has made a bit of a mistake, as we see Lee Craig also coming in the pits and retiring. He's given up the ghost. Also, Sheik has retired. What has happened to Sheik? We've missed that, but he has caused a crash, and that has caused another safety car. Unbelievable. And that, once again, has thrown a spanner in the works. Sheik has been all over the place yet again in this race. He's been causing so many time penalties. and he's had quite a few comings together with AJ, which I'm sure being the stewards, and now he's caused a safety car, which has, well, changed the course of this race really. This has played into Ginger and Aki's and Prof's hands really. They're going to pit, no doubt. They are all going to pit. Aki being very careful not to speed. Also Prof and Tiedemann. And yeah, GFO is going to pit. Chuck's going to pit as well. Yeah, they're deciding to. Make sense really. They're not going to make the wets last to the end. They're just going to have to suck it up and sort of take it at this point, fight their way through to the back. So it's very much neutralised it, and that early pit stop from the top three really not helping them right now. It's potentially cost them a win. However, they have made their way back up the grid, and I'm sure they'll be very happy. Tommy does come out the pit box. Royal Rumble is going to stay out. He's got brand new wets anyway. He has literally just pitted. Bugatti staying out, 5 lap old tyres. AJ yet decided to just chuck on a new set of wets. Got nothing to lose. He's not going to lose any positions. He may as well. However, we will have Cameron Poulter, which I believe is an AI car, a whole lap behind, and this could take some time for the AI to catch up, which could potentially be an issue. So see everyone pretty much catching up already. It's purely just Cameron Poulter that we're going to wait on, the what I believe to be AI control car. I unfortunately don't get to see it. As you see, yeah. So you see Lee commenting in the main chat, not very happy with the driving abilities of Sheet in the Mercedes. So he's seen him hit every single person that was next to him, and I must admit we did catch a lot of that on the stream as well. Be interesting what Sheet's defense is. He was only AJ Baker just to catch up, and then obviously we've got Cameron's Ferrari. Everyone pretty much going to go to the end on this set of tyres. Only pits you'll see from now on is any other safety car or any damage anyone may pick up while racing around. But there you have it, Jin John for potentially yet another victory. He's snatched this one away. His decision to stay out paid off in the end. Aki also potentially on for a fantastic podium, as is Tiedemann, and Prof not far behind. Does look like Tiedemann actually jumped Prof in the pits, so I'm not sure what happened there. He obviously gained a bit of an advantage somehow. But we've also got Chuckle in 5th and 6th. I think they jumped DFO as well in the pit, if I remember rightly. So don't discount them out for now till the end of the race. They're going to be hard pressed to get back up to Ginge and try and get the race win back, but never say never. Let's see how the rest of this race plays out. You see Bugatti Sloven popping in the pits just to get a few fresher tyres. Not a bad choice, like I said. Not going to lose out on anything, and hopefully we'll get back running this lap, because we can't possibly wait for an AI car to catch up, because look how slowly it's going. It's the AI level's set so low, it's going to take probably the next 3 laps to actually catch back up. Yeah, what a great race this has been. Once again, it looks like Ginger's set to extend his championship lead, and as things stand, quite a lot. as we wait to get back going. Once again, we're going to do yet another lap, rather disappointingly. And I'm sure everyone just as frustrated as I am right now that we're not getting racing, just purely because of Cameron's AI being set so low and being so slow. It's going to take an awful long time to catch up. It's really not making much progress at all. Who's your predictions on? So just replying to a few people in the chat. So yeah, if you're watching along, who's your money on to win this? I think Ginger's got to be the favourite, obviously leading the race, but showing a very strong pace over the guys behind, or immediately behind first few cars. So confirmation finally, safety car is going to be in this lap. And we are going to get back racing once again. Ginge once again becomes the de facto safety car leader, and he dictates the pace while we wait for the safety car to return to the pits. And everyone just trying to get a bit of heat in their tyres. Chuck is definitely going to be one to watch out for on the restart. Can he make any moves to try and gain the race win back once again? Chuckle, I'm sure, equally as disappointed. He really needs to gain points in the championship over Ginge, as does Paul, who's struggling down in 8th. All three of them being incredibly quick tonight and possibly should have got podium, but yeah, that early pit stop really costing them. In hindsight, a big misjudgment, but so easily could have worked in their favour. And Ginge once again leaving it to the very last minute until he goes. He is going to do it around the last corner as well, and away the McLaren goes, and it's been a pretty good restart from the Haas of Tiedemann and also Prof as well. But you've also got Chuck, who's gone down the inside of Prof. He's forced Prof off the track, but he's made the move, and that is Chuck up into 4th. I'm sure he's going to be very happy with that. GFO also trying to make moves. Paul has dropped back down a little bit. Oh, Chuck's lost the back on the exit, but Prof has gone round. Prof has lost the back as well, and he's in the wall and dropping down positions left, right and centre, and that's re-given Chuck position back up, and he's had a really good run on Tiedemann in the Haas. Chuckle's also trying to get involved. It's going to be 3 into this left-hander. Who's going to hold it? I think the Red Bull is going to have the inside line now for the right-hander, and that gives him the advantage, and it certainly does. But no, the Haas of Tiedemann is still there and up the inside, and now he's going to run Chuck out of room, and that is going to allow Chuckle up the inside of his brother, who's now jumped him. Can he make a move on Tiedemann? He is up the inside into the left-hander. They're going to go side by side this contact, and they're running wide. And they're still side by side under the over the bridge. Apologies. They go. Who has the position? It is Chuckle for now, and Chuck is going to be fuming, and he has not come out fared so well on that. But here he goes. Is he going to get a run on Tiedemann now? Because Tiedemann loses the back end a little bit. He certainly is. He's going to go up the inside later on the brakes. And can he make that move stick this time? Yes, he can. Just squeezing the Haas a little bit. And that needed to be done. But unfortunately, he has lost out to his brother, who's now going to go chasing after Aki, who has had a great restart and is well within a second of Ginge. And running very, very strongly indeed, it has to be said. And that is very impressive. Paul has fared terribly. He's dropped back 2 positions in all of that. Obviously, Prof as well. Unfortunately, gutting for him, has dropped right back Chuckle, I'm sure, very, very happy with that restart. He's come out of it very nicely, but off he goes to try and chase down the leaders. Chuck's struggling a bit. Well, Chuck is struggling a lot because he's lost the back end and he's dropping down the order. And back behind even Paul he goes. And right now, and he nearly loses it into the back of Paul to go, and there he gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting and into the wall, and Paul is just losing the back end a bit, but he's managed to hold on to it. Paul really struggling this evening, just not looking his usual self in the rain. And what drama once again! The safety car has caused us. AJ, look at that! AJ is really brought him back in the mix. He's so far behind. He was nearly a lap behind, and the safety car just puts him right back in the hunt again. And now he's looking at a potential top 5 finish. And that is why safety car really does just puts your name in a hat, and who wins. As you see, Aki running very, very strongly, holding on to the back of Ginge, keeping him within a second. And yeah, fair play. That's he's running very good. Just dropped out of it just there, but I'm sure he's going to be happy as long as he's just trying to keep a gap to Chuckle, who is bearing down on him. But do remember how hard it is to overtake once again. Aki looking very strong for a nice podium indeed, and well deserved. Right now we are going to check in with the position changes. GFO at 14 places. Wow, unbelievable. Great racing for GFO. Obviously the safety cars helping him quite a bit as well, but take nothing away from the man. He's had a great race. Who's your driver of the day though? I mean, GFO's got, purely from the position gain, he no doubt the game will give it to him, and I wouldn't disagree with you if you said GFO, but I want to put Aki's name in the hat on this one as well, because he may not have gained tons of positions, but he's just been utterly solid and really kept pace with the leaders of this race. To be honest with you, he's just been there, been solid. He's not made any mistakes. He's driven very, very well indeed. We're going to jump back down now because we've got a bit of drama going back on. Royal Rumble, Bugatti and Paul all going side by side. There's a bit of contact there, but nothing too bad. The Alfa Romeo really struggling for a grip, and that's allowing Bugatti and Paul to be all over the back of him. Bugatti is going side by side. He's going up the inside of the Alfa Romeo, but it will be the outside for the next corner. He brakes later. He cuts across, just about leaves room for the Alfa Romeo. I thought he hadn't for a minute, and he's got the inside line for the next right-hander, and the Alfa Romeo of Royal has just dropped it into the wall. Perhaps trying to brake a bit too late. The pressure of being side by side easily done, and that's allowed Paul up into 8th, and now he's all over the back of Bugatti, trying to gain another position, trying to salvage what he can from this race. Chuck is also right behind, trying to salvage what he can after losing the back end there. Royal Rumble making some interesting lines there, just dropping back. Prof is now back into the points, and we've seen Chuckle gaining quite a bit of time now on Aki. Aki no doubt feeling the pressure. But can Chuckle make a move? He's going to catch him by the end of the race at this rate, but can he make a move? It's going to, one thing catching, it's another thing getting past, as we all know. This evening has been incredibly difficult to overtake. Through they go. We're just going to watch with Paul, because he is pushing the Alfa Romeo Alpine, along, and perhaps pushing him a little bit too much into the wall. We couldn't see from that angle whether there was contact. It certainly looked like Paul gave him a little bit of a nudge into the wall. I'm sure if that's the case, we will be seeing it in the stewards, but in the meantime, that has got Paul the position, and Bugatti is going to be in the pits probably for a new front wing after that, I imagine. GFO all over the back of Tiedemann as well. You see, Paul and Chuck trading places. Chuck has made a move. They're all losing positions. They're losing their back end. It's very, very difficult to put the power down. They're having a good old battle here. Paul's taking a very wide sweeping line to try and get the pace going on the straight, losing the back end once again, but he is going to be side by side with Chuck. Paul, I think, is going to have the position going into the corner. He certainly is. And down into 7th place he goes once again. That is great watching. But we have to keep an eye on Chuckle, because he has caught the back of Aki now. He's just getting it under a second. As we speak, Aki holding very good pace, only really dropping 7-8 tenths to Ginge. Not struggling a bit in the slow speed at the corners, but Aki not running any traction control, so absolutely hats off to him. It is incredibly difficult to do so in these conditions, and he is driving exceptionally well. As we see Prof getting past Chuck, so Chuck really struggling. Perhaps got quite a twitchy setup on, because we've seen him go sideways an awful lot this race, and it has unfortunately cost him on a number of occasions. Royal Rumble all over the back of Bugatti Sloven, though he does have a time penalty, so even if he gets past, he's going to have to pull a bit of a gap. We are on lap 23 of 31. Still a little way to go in this race. It is not over yet. It feels like we've had an incredibly long race. It feels like we've had a whole race. But it is still going. It's very, very difficult race to do. Singapore is a long one. It requires a lot of concentration, a lot of patience, and especially in the rain. They said it's going to take that much longer. Chuckle now within 8 tenths of Aki. It's not going to be close enough to make any sort of a lunge, any sort of a move, but it's going to put Aki under a little bit of pressure. He's going to be hoping that the Alpha Tauri just makes a little bit of a mistake in it and lets the McLaren through. He's going to need to make a move fairly soon if he wants to go on and win this race. He's going to have to get a move made pretty quickly, because he's then got a 2-second gap to catch up to Ginge. And that's before he even tries to make an overtaking move on Ginge. It's going to be a tall order for the Chuckle brothers, but I'm sure he's going to be dead keen to try his best. He's taken a lot more of the track through there than Aki is. Aki just keeping it, like I said, neat and tidy. That's all he needs to do, really. Even if he loses a position, I'm sure he'll be dead chuffed with third position as Chuckle loses the back end coming out. Just trying to put that power down on a little bit too much. Aki saving his battery though, 70% odd. Chuckle on 30, so he's definitely been using it quite a lot. Just dropping back that little bit. Ginge just starting to stretch his legs a bit. Aki just dropping behind, perhaps paying a bit too much attention on his rear view mirror, perhaps just positioning his car a little bit defensively to stop the McLaren of Chuckle making any sort of a move. But I'm sure Aki will not care about the race win. He's just looking to get a podium, and you know, hats off to him. He's driving a fantastic race. AJ running a bit wide out that final corner, running very close to the back of GFO. Perhaps the dirty air costing him somewhat. Paul is going to set fastest lap of the race, just to gain a little bit of pride and an extra point for AlphaTauri, who are going to score good points tonight. But I think McLaren are going to outscore them, because they are currently running first and third, especially if Chuckle can make a move on Aki. That would definitely be good for McLaren, but to be honest, I think AlphaTauri have a uphill battle if they want to get anywhere near McLaren in this year's championship. It is already looking like domination central from the boys in orange. Chuckle just dropping back a little bit from the McLaren, but I tell you what, Aki's caught an awful lot up to the back of Ginge. Has Ginge made a bit of a mistake here? I think Ginge may have made a mistake, either that or he is struggling, because the AlphaTauri is catching and has caught quite a rate of knots as well. Chuckle losing the back end once again in the background and dropping behind further once again, just perhaps pushing that a little bit too hard. We'll jump back with AJ and GFO, because they are the closest two on track right now. AJ all over the back of the Alfa Romeo, but just nowhere to make a move. Got to be so close and so brave and so committed, as we saw Paul do earlier actually. on Tommy. And it is such a risky thing to do, making a move here. Paul once again fastest lap. He is cementing that nicely. He's looking to catch up the back of this battle with AJ and GFO, but I think unless they make a mistake, 7th with fastest lap is probably the best that Paul can manage, but he's really showing his pace in clean air. Just really struggled in traffic, hasn't he? Pitting early was a mistake, but unlike Chuck and Chuckle, he just couldn't make the moves when it mattered. And yeah, unfortunately, just didn't see him go very far, make any sort of progress up the field. It is incredibly difficult to make the right moves at the right time and choose them. And he made a fantastic one earlier on the Williams, but yeah, just not the key ones where it mattered most. Aki once again sort of just going above 2 seconds to Ginge, so maybe Ginge just stretching his legs once again, trying to pull away. Chuckle still just outside of a second. Don't forget, Tiegeman's not far behind, following these guys. It's a great result for Tiegeman. It's a great result for Haas as well at the moment, 4th and 6th, with AJ all over the back of GFO. If he can make a move, that'll be a 4th and 5th for Haas, which will be brilliant for them in the constructors. We are on lap 26 of 31. Everyone just sort of spacing themselves out a little bit. Nothing all too much happening. Like I said, the main battle on track really is this one. AJ all over the back of that Alfa Romeo. He's losing so much time, but there's just no way past for him. He just can't keep enough speed in the dirty air, that Alfa Romeo, coming onto that start-finish straight to get close enough to him. I think it's the real slow speed corners. AJ appears to be that much quicker. The medium and high speed, perhaps not as much. So I think is helping the Alfa Romeo stay ahead. We do have a spinner, that is Bugatti Sloven, who once again has gone round, and that has caused a safety car. Unbelievable. No way, Jose. None of us want to see a safety car. I mean, it may cause us a bit of drama, but what is that for? That is unbelievable. Royal Rumble has got himself a drive-through penalty. Speeding under the safety car. He has not kept an eye on his delta, and he has been caught foul. And that absolutely will be his race over. Bugatti coming in the pit for a new wing. Not the first new wing he's had this evening. Fortunately, I think Cameron's AI is going to be a lap down already, so I think we should be alright this time around. But it will be Bugatti who will be the last car to catch up, because he is a long way behind. Is anyone going to pit? To be honest, it's not really worth it, is it? It's not worth pitting at all. You're going to lose so many positions. As long as these tyres will make it to the end, which I think they comfortably will, to be honest with you, especially by the time we get going. Anyone who pits now is just going to put themselves further back and a lot of work to do, and no time to do it in either. It's stay out central, I imagine, as we will probably see every car ignore the pit line. Yeah, they certainly will. Every single car going around it, and I can't say I blame them. Let's give Paul an opportunity potentially. He had a bit of a gap to AJ up ahead, so might give him a bit of a chance at a restart, gaining a position or two. Sure, Ginge won't be happy with it because he had a nice little gap. Aki, I think he'll probably be pretty happy because it brings Ginger back, reaching grasp of him, and and holds Chuck behind him for a bit extra. But we need to check in with Chuck, who apparently is Aston Martin. That's not right. That must be Prof. It's got to be Prof. Chuck Royal Rumble gets himself another drive-through penalty. Yeah, Chuck has gone onto the intermediate tyres. There you have it, Royal Rumble. No surprise, he has decided to call it quits. Let's see how Chuck manages, shall we? He's going to have very cold tyres now, so he's going to have no grip, and yeah, there it is. No grip. I'll tell you what, if it dries out, it'll be a genius move. If it doesn't dry out, well, I don't think he's going to lose all that much. Perhaps a couple of positions. Oh, look at that. Just needs to get those tyres warmed up. If he can get them warmed up, then maybe okay. I think it is too early for Inters, though, to be honest with you. I think it will be a mistake, but yeah, he just feels like he's got nothing else to lose. And one last gamble, one last roll of the dice. It's worth doing, absolutely. But we are on lap 28 of 31. I wouldn't be massively surprised if we did. Oh, Chuck has gone in the wall and lost a fair chunk of his front wing, and I think that just tells you what tyres you need to be on. Worth the go, Chuck. Definitely worth the go, but unfortunately has not paid out. I'm sure we'll see Chuck coming back in the pits. I'm sure he'll probably put on another set of wets. Rain definitely isn't easing off anytime soon. It certainly looks like it's going to be Ginge extending his lead once again. It's a bit like Lewis Hamilton, isn't it? Let's be honest. Everyone's just bored of him winning at this point. No, he's won 3 out of 4 races, and he's on the verge of making it 4 out of 5 races. And the race he didn't win, he came second or third, I can't remember, but he came on the podium. I'm sure he did. Oh no, he came 4th. My apologies. It was Imola. He came in 4th position. Just still a great result and good points. So yeah, he's been absolutely on it this season, and I know wet weather is not his favourite. He doesn't enjoy it that much. However, he has come out on top so far. And please get rid of that Christmas pudding helmet. It looks terrible. It's obviously bringing you luck though. But there we go. Shall see. Hopefully we might get the safety car in at the end of this lap. Chuck has carried on, you know. I think he's got wing damage, but he's just gone, oh, forget it. As Tommy tries to overtake him. No overtaking under safety car, remember. Just waiting for Bugatti to catch up. He's not all that far behind. I think it would make sense for the safety car to come in this lap, because by the time it does, Bugatti will have caught up quite comfortably, to be honest with you. He goes into the old Singapore sling, a great corner to take quite fast, as we see safety car in this lap, and that is what we want to see. And that does actually give Bugatti a bit of an advantage, because he is on older tyres, but do you know what? They're going to be warm. He's been pushing flat out now, as everyone else is going slowly, and has been for some time. It could pry him a fair advantage here. And you see Ginge slowing down once again. Will dictate. Do we reckon he's going to go at the last minute once again? Or is he going to go a little bit earlier? Perhaps he is he's backing the pack up perhaps a little bit more than he did last time. Which could indicate he could be going earlier, but if I had to guess, knowing Ginge, I reckon he's going to go at the same time once again. He's worked for him 2 times before, and I don't think he's going to want to change that. Aki in second. Can he try and get a jump on him. Well, it looks like Ginger might have gone. He certainly has, and it's caught Aki napping. And I tell you what, Chuckle is all over the back of Aki here. Aki could be in trouble. We've got Chuck who's losing positions further back, no surprise. But we've also got an Alfa Romeo of GFO going up the inside of Tiedemann. He's made a move up, but Tiedeman's going to come back around the outside. The Alfa Romeo and the Haas losing the back end. And AJ Baker, the Haas teammate, is now looking to take advantage of that. Can he make a move? AJ Baker around the outside. He's going to get a track limits penalty for that, though, and that might have cost him big time. He hasn't made the move yet, but they are going to be side by side. The two Haas boys. Who's got the ascendancy? It is Tiedemann currently. AJ Baker will try and outbrake him down the inside. He certainly does. There is room for two cars. He can't make the move, and Tiedemann manages to hold on to that. That's very good defending. Bugatti makes a move past Prof. There's just enough room for an Aston Martin around the outside, and he keeps that position for now. But the Alpine looking to make a move around the outside, and what did I say? Warmer tyres, because he's been pushing for the last half of that lap. And he's gone in way too deep as Bugatti. Could that allow Prof back in? No, I think he's managed to retain it, and that's ideal. But we're forgetting the front. This is Chuckle all over the back of Aki, who is pretty damn close to the back of Ginger in turn, you know. And this is getting interesting. Prof has got back past Bugatti. It was lost it. What has happened? There was a yellow flag. I think that was Bugatti, yeah, who has lost the back end. Chuckle all over the back of Aki, who's defending with all his might. This is the penultimate lap, don't forget. We are nearly at the end. Chuck, has crashed into the wall, and that is him out of the race and scoring no points at all. I'm sure he's going to be devastated with that, the way the race has gone. He could so easily have won it after getting that pole position, but he's shown great pace nonetheless. Chuckle all over the back still of Aki as Ginge rounds the final corner. We are now on to the final lap of this Grand Prix, and it is all to play for. Ginge looks like he's going to extend his championship lead. Chuckle really wants to keep that gap to as little as possible and get past the AlphaTauri of Aki, but Aki doing a fantastic job in second place and holding on to this one. Don't forget GFO right behind Tiedemann, also AJ Baker. Paul a little bit behind, but has managed to get through to 7th. And I believe has fastest lap as well, but we'll have to check in on that one after at the end of the race. Chuckle not close enough to make a move on Aki, who is close enough to Ginge to get the slipstream, which is going to help him down the straights, and could just make that little bit of a difference. Ginger's struggling a bit on traction there as Aki gets a bit closer to him. And it's going to be a very, very long last lap for these guys. I'm sure they're going to want it to be over already. Is Chuckle going to make a move? He loses the back end a bit, and I think that's going to cost him precious meters. Maybe he was thinking about trying to make a dive up the inside to the hairpin, but not going to be close enough now. Definitely not there. There are two Hasses nearly side by side, but not quite. As you see, it's very difficult. It's only going to be a mistake as we round into the final sector. Ginge is leading the way. Aki still somehow holding on to second. He has fought valiantly to hold off Chuckle, who's given it everything, but just cannot find a way past. He is pushing the AlphaTauri through this last sector. I cannot keep my eyes off of him. I'm not sure if somebody hasn't spun, but it looks like it is going to be Ginge who is going to round the final corner. He is going to win round 5 in Singapore and extend his championship lead. Aki is going to finish a brilliant second place. Chuckle is going to crash across the line on purpose and finish third. Great result for him in the end. GFO, absolutely fantastic recovery. Up 15 positions into 4th place. Tiedemann in 5th. Paul will gain a position thanks to the penalty of AJ Baker, as will Prof in 6th and 7th. AJ dropping down to 8th. Bugatti in 9th. Tommy doing a nice little 360 across the line in 10th position. And what a dramatic race. I'm sure there is going to be stewards reports aplenty. The game gave GFO driver of the day, and you can't really disagree with that. Me personally, I'm going to give a joint driver of the day today, because GFO has had a fantastic comeback through the field. That is insane. He has played it to perfection and great pace. He's pretty much been under the radar all race. He's just kept it nice and neat and tidy. But as has Aki, who is going to be my joint driver of the day, because I think he's done fantastically well keeping pace with the boys at the top, especially in those conditions, not running any assists. It's so difficult, and fair play to him. So they are going to be my joint driver of the day. Who's yours? Please let me know. But it's going to be a double McLaren podium once again. They extend their lead in the constructors. Paul, I'm sure, going to be kicking himself for letting that happen. Also in the drivers, Ginge wiping the floor with everyone at the moment. He is extending his lead massively. Paul will get fastest lap. That is something for him. But there you have it. There's confirmation of the results. Ginge extends his championship lead with yet another victory. 4 out of 5 races now he's won. Aki with a fantastic first podium of the season in second. Chuckle recovering nicely to third. GFO with a storming drive to fourth. And Tijman with a brilliant 5th position. And there you have it. What a great race. I'm sure there's going to be drama plenty in the stewards room and the race chat after. But wow, we will catch up with you next week. I cannot wait for the next race next week. But until then, I have to say goodbye.